Hi, my name is Abir. So in this video we are going to talk about HTTP and HTTPS. So let's see first of all what is HTTP. I'm pretty sure that you already know about HTTP, at least the full form of HTTP, which is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So what HTTP does is it enables you to contact the server or communicate the server and get you the data what you want, right? And it has some notable points, so which are plain text, insecure, then lightweight, and the port. So the first point is plain text. So when HTTP sends the request to the server and when server provides the data to the client, all this communication happens in plain text. And second point is insecure. So since the communication happens in plain text, this is obviously insecure because anyone can be snipping into the communication and get the sensitive data. Obviously you don't want that to happen, right? So that's why most of the websites actually don't use HTTP. Instead they use HTTPS because HTTPS provides security. And the third point is lightweight. So HTTP doesn't have a a security mechanism, and that's why it is very much lightweight if I compare it to HTTPS. And the last point is port. So HTTP has a default port which is 80. Now let's talk about HTTPS. So HTTPS adds an additional layer of security which is provided by SSL or TLS. So TLS is basically the new version of SSL, and people use SSL and TLS interchangeably. Now what does SSL mean? The full form of SSL, which is security socket layer, and the full form of TLS is transport layer security. Now when you see a padlock icon before a web address, it does refer to the point that the website is secure with HTTPS. Now when it comes to HTTPS's encryption, how does HTTPS makes it secure? Because it encrypts the request you make to the server, and when it gets to you, the request gets encrypted and then it reaches to the server, and there it gets decrypted, and then again when it gets the data, then it also it gets encrypted again, and ultimately the encrypted data reaches to the client again. So that's how the process works. Now here's the thing: since the communication happens through encryption, anyone can actually sniff into the communication, but they cannot understand what is the data. But here is a catch. Although the data is not being seen, but anyone can actually sniff into the communication, and they can actually detect where you are dialing to, and also they can actually know the data size and some other information. We can safely say that HTTPS doesn't get you all the required security, so you have to take some other security measures, right? So how does SSL provides you the security? So SSL use a certificate, and the certificate is signed by certification authority, and with the help of this certificate you communicate with the server securely. And there are three types of SSL certificates. One is domain validation certificate, or DV, which provides the most basic level of security. You can actually get the domain and the DV certificate very easily. Often it comes with domain, and for the most websites it's actually fine to use DV certificate, and the websites like blogs or affiliate sites or local service providers, something like that. The other two certificates are organization validation and extended validation. These two names actually indicates, how much secure they are, right? Organization and extended. And another point I have to mention is that HTTPS is actually heavier than HTTP, and obviously it has to be, because HTTPS uses a security mechanism and which makes it heavier, and the default port of HTTPS is 443. So these are all the things that you have to know about HTTPS. Now let's understand how SSL encryption works. So there are two kinds of SSL encryption. One is asymmetric and the other one is symmetric. So when I talk about asymmetric, it provides two keys, public and private keys. So it holds the private key in it, and it actually provides a public key to the client. So when you request something to the server, the first thing it does is server holds a private key in it and it gives you a public key, and then that public key encrypts the request. Then that encrypted key goes to the server, and then the server decrypts it with its private key. And that's how the session, it creates a session, and when the session is created, then the communication happens through the session and it becomes secure. So that's the process asymmetric encryption uses. Now when it comes to symmetric encryption, so symmetric encryption has only one key. This one key actually encrypts the data, and then when it goes to the when the request goes to the server, the same key decrypts the request, and that's how the communication happens. So that's how the symmetric encryption works.